Okay, so good morning, everyone. We'll start with those of us in the Gompa can turn to page 14, the Refuge and Cheetah prayer. And those online will just, we can all just join in. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly by the merits I create through, I think we can say through our meditation, through my meditation, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through my meditation, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through my meditation, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Pretty vast, spacious motivation. Continue on the theme of spaciousness from yesterday. Welcome back, everybody. Anyone else joining us today? Yes. Okay, so how very wonderful that here we are and woke up this morning in the same body. It was such a relief. Continuing to have this opportunity to engage in our meditation practice. Still got the karma to be having this precious human existence, which is one of the themes for today. So, today engaging in more analytical meditation, the power of the mind to, think, to cognize, it's the purpose of the mind. And specifically looking at most of the time, our ways of thinking about things and engaging with the world and others are based on sort of confused ideas, and we get things wrong, and that then leads to a sense of unhappiness or dissatisfaction. And we might place the blame outwards, but also we have a tendency to beat ourselves up, which is awful. And this is not in sync with reality as it is, that we are innately pure, we have innately positive qualities. Yes, we stuff up, hey, but I'm not my problems. I have problems, So it would be, it's a way through analysis to gradually become aware of the ways that we think, the ways that we feel. The way we make sense of the world. And to correct our incorrect understandings and, to develop more the views more in sync with reality, because that is the source of the happiness we all seek, the peace we all seek, that sense of being, I think the athletes call it in the zone, like everything's just coming together nicely. So more and more that experience can come along through our analysis, but also perceiving, where I do get it wrong. So I'm going to take this into our meditations this morning. And so our structure for today is very similar structure to yesterday. I think that worked for folks, right? So we'll have a couple of meditations, a break around 10:15, and then come back 10:45, and some more meditations, of course, always opportunities for questions as we go along, and so forth. And then break at 12 for lunch and 1:15. I think yesterday people really valued having that discussion time, right? Yeah, because I had a sort of 2 alternative plans. So always good to have a few plans up your sleeves that don't exist. Anyway, so that's good. So we'll have that discussion time. It seems to be very, very valuable for folks. And hopefully we can address the challenges online, Juliet and Pauline, to get you connected. I'm not sure, right? But we'll, we'll see what the karma's like today for you. Anybody else?
A movie.
Yeah, that's what we're not having. So
Aw.
that's all right. That's okay. Movie's a big word for for what it is. No. Right. Anyway, so then and then we'll have another break and some more meditations and finish by 4. So that's how we're progressing again for today. And so again, you know, those people in the Gompa here, I think you've already made this your nice, comfortable space. I see people have, you know, returned to their spot, which is really nice to do that. But, you know, when we're at home and we have a meditation space and we build up that energy around that space, or in your truck, or in, as I said, the Dharma mobile, as I said yesterday. But, you know, a certain energy builds up in that space. And like in a space like this, the energy of those who've meditated before, come to teachings and so forth, brings up a positive energy. And, you know, when we have the opportunity again to do pilgrimages, this is why we do pilgrimage. This is why the Buddha said to do pilgrimage, not to honor the Buddha necessarily, you know, in the significant places of the Buddha's life or any of the others, but we tap into that energy. I don't know if people have had the experience when you've gone on pilgrimage, but I remember being in Paping in Nepal, and there's a cave, Guru Rinpoche cave. Guru Rinpoche, who introduced the teachings into Tibet, or established, that he didn't introduce, Shantra Cheetah introduced, but established in Tibet. So, and you go into that cave, it's a cave where Guru Rinpoche meditated for 8 years. And you go in and your mind's just completely still straight away. Like it's cool air. And this was centuries ago, right? And so that transformation of the environment is really palpable, let alone someone like Shravasti, where the Buddha, you know, 25 years rains retreats, which is like, you know, 3 months plus, you know. So every year, your mind's completely still. You sort of don't want to leave, you know. Such exquisite energy. So that's what we're building up in our environments around us, the energy we're generating into the environment around us, we can't necessarily feel. But maybe we can get more attuned to that. Okay. So this first meditation that we do is actually on appreciating, as I said, you know, what a relief to wake up in the same body and to be able to continue on appreciating what we do have, the conditions that we do have in our life, in our existence. And, you know, this counteracts those thoughts of self-criticism, maybe even self-loathing at times, or, you know, the ways we beat ourselves up. And it seems to be pervasive throughout the whole of human existence, you know. It's quite interesting. Well, maybe not all, I'll tell you, you know, when the Dalai Lama started meeting with the mind scientists, you know, and other, you know, sort of physicists and so forth like that, with the Mind and Life conferences. So at the beginning, you know, one of them mentioned having low self-esteem. And there wasn't a word to translate that into Tibetan, low self-esteem. That's why I'm saying maybe not everybody. Just wasn't a word for low self-esteem. Isn't that amazing in Tibetan? And eventually the translator got around a way for His Holiness to understand what the scientists were saying. And His Holiness looked around the room and he said, who else suffers this low self-esteem? And everyone put up their hand. And here you're talking about people at the top of their game, you know. Nothing wrong with their intelligence, but having that sense of, oh yes, I have that too. And His Holiness' response was he threw this upper rope over his head and cried. And then he recovered and said, why would we as human beings, why would human beings do this to ourselves? Now, we don't think about it like that I am doing this to myself. But in fact, this is what the Buddha said, that our whatever reactions that we have, we are doing to ourselves. It's a tough call, really, isn't it? I mean, it's sort of, it's easy to put the blame out there, but with the blame out there, we stay stuck. We don't change, we can't transform. We can't do anything with that, or just stay really stuck, and that festers and gets more and more overwhelming to our mind. So this first meditation is cultivating that sense of appreciation for our human life. So as per yesterday, if you make sure you're comfortable where you're sitting, you've got all the props that you need, cushions under your knees or under your bottom. I didn't mention that yesterday. We have that sort of sense of the reason for having a cushion under your bottom is to help the pelvis tilt forward, just so, and that naturally brings the spine into alignment. That having a straight spine is what indeed helps concentration. Having that long spine, like the vertebrae all stacked up nicely, or like a pile of coins on top of each other. Back of the neck long and the crown towards the ceiling. And then feeling that sense of firmness, of solidity, of stability with the floor, the seat, cushion, the mat, whatever support you're resting on, really coming up and supporting you, anchoring you, giving you a sense of safety, stability, and groundedness to the earth below, really settling in to the space, settling into your meditation posture. So with your skeleton like that supporting you, the muscles done a great job of getting you here, getting you up and going. Now they can take a break. They can just rest. Getting a sense of spaciousness and softness in your body. Being aware of the sensations on the crown of your head, whether it be a slight pressure or a tickling sensation or itching sensation or no sensation whatsoever is fine. And then attending to bring your awareness to the space of the face, the whole of your head, but you think about the face in terms of where the senses are concentrated: eyes, ears, nose, tongue. And inviting a sense of spaciousness, openness into the forehead, allow the eyes to just rest softly in the sockets, feeling the weight of the eyes, the space around the eyes. around the muscles around the eyes, soft, relaxed, spacious, around the jaw, and the whole of the mouth, the space of the mouth cavity, and the lips just lightly touching the tip of your teeth behind, tip of your tongue behind your upper teeth, so that the feeling the throat open, soft, relaxed. Allowing the shoulders to just feel their weight, relax the weight, relieving any burdens we feel that we carry on our shoulders, and just soften into a sense of ease and comfort and openness. And spaciousness around the chest, the front of the chest, the back of the chest, the upper back, and the chest cavity, around the lungs and the intercostal muscles. And complete sense of creating a softness, a space. Going down to the abdomen, the front, the whole circumference of the abdomen, the outer surface, and then the muscles, and then deep within the space, within the abdominal cavity. Feeling grounded. Bring our energy down to the pelvis. It's being supported on the seat. Feeling the weight of that connecting to the earth. And the arms and the legs just being soft, relaxed, feeling well supported. Bringing your body to a state of comfort and ease. So with the breath out, going through the body, any tension, any tightness, softening, relaxing, creating a sense of spaciousness, a gentle self-care, self-awareness. Inviting the mind to settle into this conducive container of the body, because it's the mind that meditates, not the body, but we provide the conducive outer environment, inner environment, for the mind to settle into that space. Simply aware of the comings and goings of the breath in the whole of your body. Settling your mind more and more, releasing as well with the breath out anything distracting your mind away from simply being present in this meditation, nothing else to do. Just release that into the space of your mind, relaxed, spacious awareness. Tap in the essence of your mind, its pure nature, its nature of clarity, luminosity, translucent, unobstructed, with infinite potential to develop all our positive qualities beyond our imagining. To attain a state of complete purity, goodness, perfection. And we can think that every other sentient being's mind is actually the same, completely, innately pure, clear like space, vast, unlimited potential. That all our self-judgment, self-criticisms, negative thoughts, destructive emotions are not in that innate nature of mind. So therefore, they are temporary. Therefore, we can clear those away and tap into more our inner wealth of all our positive qualities, all our intelligence, loving kindness, compassion, generosity, wisdom. And to cultivate those more and more, to give more and more benefit to myself, to those around me, using our life to bring benefit and happiness to others. So just on that basis, feel very joyful about all this positive potential that lies within you. Like a treasure trove waiting to be discovered, waiting to be cultivated. And that as a human being, I've got the best possible rebirth to be able to cultivate these. So we can think what it would be like being born an animal into the animal realm. You can think about the animals in the wild. You know, when they get experiences like hunger and thirst, cold, and it's raining, sickness or injuries. It's not like you have someone normally there to care for them unless they get found and looked after by their human friends. Be completely open to the elements and also in fear of their lives. So we can see in the documentaries, and it looks pretty wild out there in the wild. So in constant fear. Even those domesticated animals are, often in better off situations, but also lack freedom, and that we as human beings use them for our own benefit, using all their skin and their meat and parts of their bodies. Even our pets, who have the most fortunate animal rebirth in terms of being cared for, particularly by a Dharma practitioner, a sense of safety to some extent, have a sense of being cared for. But even those are limited of intelligence, even the most intelligent animals. Still, their intelligence is limited. Even their compassion, definitely have compassion, but it's limited. They can't really develop themselves intellectually, spiritually. So contemplating that reality, think how, in comparison, how fortunate I am, how precious this human life is. And then we can contemplate also being born human. Doesn't always come with all the right conditions, or the conditions can change moment to moment. So that we can think of course, of those in the war zones, those in the Ukraine and surrounding countries that all of a sudden, being propelled into this existence. We're just spending the energy to stay alive, keep the family alive, and find food. Very little time to think of anything such like spiritual practices. And even those who are, like the monks and nuns in Ukraine, going down to the bunkers and trying to be safe, trying to keep others safe. It's a very frightening, uncertain existence. Imagine what it would be like if you were, and you may have the experience of family, friends in the situation of having a severe mental disability or chronic illness, such that you're not able to access teachings, or if you can, you don't understand them, don't understand how the mind has infinite potential and how to develop that. Or being in excruciating pain constantly. We may from time to time ourselves experience these hindrances to our spiritual practice, but here right now we have every opportunity. How precious. Not only that, how precious that we're here. We've not only met the Dharma, but we wish to investigate more. We wish to find ways of putting that into practice on the cushion in our day-to-day life. There's many parts of the world where people live where they don't even have that opportunity, they don't have that access to teachings that give them that understanding of the potential of the mind and how to develop it. Or they may be prevented from doing that in such countries where there is no freedom of religion or no freedom of accessing the teachings. So we can appreciate how precious opportunities that we have and how difficult it would be if they were deprived from us like that. And of course, most people in the world might have every access possible, every opportunity possible, but their interests lie elsewhere with accumulating wealth, property, worldly knowledge, or simply experiencing as much pleasure as they can, not considering that when we die, all of this gets left behind. No use then, gone like a dream. And of course, there are those unethical beings who engage in harmful actions of killing, we see with the war, not knowing the karmic consequences, or not even caring, even they did know, or stealing, or being abusive, dishonest, without being aware that impact that these actions have on themselves, have on others. And create greater potential, for themselves to continue to experience more and more intense suffering, difficulties, problems, disturbances, obstacles. So in relation to all these other conditions of being born human, how precious my life is, how amazing that I have every opportunity right here, right now, to use my life in such meaningful ways, beneficial ways for the world. And then bring to mind all your positive qualities and advantages you have being born human with an intelligent mind, a loving heart, and a body that we can put to good use, functioning well enough. We have people who care for us, who support us, family, friends, spiritual teachers, the Buddha's teachings. We have the freedom here to pursue whatever creative, intellectual, professional, or social opportunities available to us, whatever our interests. Sometimes we take all this for granted, but it's truly amazing when we compare ourselves to the situation of others. A result of our past good karma, of past lives, ripening here in this one-time opportunity. We have a reasonably good standard of living, at least enough to keep going, keep alive, keep a roof over our head. And most importantly, because of our interests and ripening of our past karma, virtuous karma, we have the benefits of being able to investigate, understand, transform the mind on the basis of understanding how the mind works. How it arises moment by moment. So each moment is an opportunity for transformation, for change. So even, we don't have necessarily the ideal conditions in our life. Problems are always in rise. That's the nature of existence. We always have the opportunity to work on our mind, to transform our mind. And we've taken that opportunity here today, to be able to do that. So we know how powerful that is, how precious that is. Think how few people on this earth share these freedoms, these opportunities. Really appreciate more and more your good fortune, how rare and precious this life is. Think of all the possibilities open to you for work, for study, for enjoyment, for travel, for service to others, for volunteering, countless opportunities we have to be of help to others without the same circumstances as ourselves, to help those less fortunate. The most meaningful way we can be of benefit to ourselves, to our others, is to develop ourselves spiritually. And because we yearn for that, we want that. And we understand that it is possible to overcome the stuckness of the mind, the negative aspects that are not in the nature of mind. They currently feel like they're in the nature of mind. But they are transient. Just like pollution is not in the nature of water and can be filtered away, so can all these counterproductive hindrances of our mind can be completely dissolved, because they don't exist anywhere on any atom of space inherently. And what we can do is increase all the positive qualities, realize our highest potential beyond measure to perfection. So see if you can feel a sense of joy and appreciation for the wonderful situation that you have, and really allow that to sink deeply into your awareness, pervade your whole mind, that sense of, wow, every possibility, how amazing, how precious, how dear. I have every opportunity to develop love, compassion, wisdom, all the possibilities, all the positive qualities to reach my highest potential every moment. How precious, how dear, how rare in the world I am. Okay, as people are doing, stretching, or if you want to stand up and relieve pressure points or so forth, wiggle. Okay, so we've changed from the tinging bell to the sort of rather subdued gong. I noticed that myself when I was on Zoom with another teacher who would use the tinging, and I say, it doesn't resonate. And I was telling people, you know, feel the reverb, and they weren't feeling the reverb, they were hearing clunk, you know, right? On Zoom, yes, I can see some smiling there.
Rob said maybe hold it in your left hand and might.
Yeah, that might help. So anyway, so was it loud enough here in the gompa? Yeah, okay. Did that work for you online better? Couldn't hear it. Oh, Samsara. Okay, we'll see. I'll see about this. Sometimes I have cushions under it to help it reverb, but this one doesn't have a cushion. Okay, closer to the microphone. All right. Doesn't make a difference in the room, but it makes a difference to you guys. I was thinking about closing the door, and during that meditation, the door was closing itself. And I thought, well, there you go, it made the decision. It's not 100% closed, but as long as it doesn't bang around, is that okay? You know? Would you like it completely closed? No. No. The sufferings of sound or the suffering of lack of air. I know. Every single time people say, I'll take the suffering of sound, no matter whatever it is. Actually, I did a whole 5 weeks retreat where a group retreat, and this I don't think it was fans. I think it might have been aircon. Anyway, it was noisy, and we just adjusted really nicely because it was rather hot outside and humid, so we sort of adjusted very quickly. And I guess that's the thing. The mind can adjust. You know, we can turn ourselves away from that. I know for myself, because I suffer from tinnitus. I don't know if anybody else does, but I say, you know, you go into a meditation retreat, the quieter it gets, the louder it gets. And so then you have to train your mind, you know, to not fixate on the things that are obstacles, and fixate, if we like, on the positives, you know, get that, engage with that more. And yeah, because otherwise, you know, then we elaborate that whole big story on top, and then it gets out of control, you know. Okay. Alrighty. So this next meditation is one on equanimity. So there are different meditations on equanimity in the terms of there's the equanimity that is about bringing our minds to a state of exquisite stillness and so forth, an equanimous mind, a well-settled mind. But here in this one, it's the other meaning of equanimity, of a sense of, you know, what a Buddha has evil, no, it doesn't. Oh. Has evil eliminated. Mind has even regard for all beings without exception, you know, just all. We criticize ourselves, as I said, you know, but a Buddha doesn't. Like a Buddha right now is delighting that we're here, you know, all the Buddhas, you know, they're engaging in the practice, showering down blessings for us, of course. But a Buddha doesn't criticize or judge. Guide, yes. But have you noticed, even with our those of us who have, you know, someone we regard as our spiritual teacher, or maybe more than one spiritual teacher and so forth, and we go for them to advice. But when we don't go for them, we ask them for advice. It's not like they say, look, I really think it'd be a good idea right now if you did this. So that it's not saying they're not ready to give that advice, they are, but it comes from our side of wanting that. So the Buddha's there ready to help whenever we seek that help. And then whoosh. It's true. So this sense of even regard, if I say I want to develop all my positive potential, this is the ground state, first of all, to be able to have this mind that has equal concern for all beings, not just for my family and friends. I mean, good if we do have concern for our family and friends. That's at least to start. For ourselves, even better. You know, start with number one in a way, but don't end there and extend that out. We need that. But that on then basis, you know, even the ones we have difficulty with, and I think this is where a lot of our spiritual practice comes along. It's in the ones who rub us up the wrong way, you know. Jitsuma Tenzin Palmo said they're like our sandpaper. They rub us up the wrong way, but in the process, we get smooth. She has also said you can have too much sandpaper. Just saying. I like that bit. So we don't throw ourselves into the too hard basket straight away. Not a wise move. So we gradually develop our capacity to encompass in our even regard, in our awareness, you know, more and more of our fellow beings in the world. So this meditation is good to help with that. So again, re-establish your conducive posture. Taking the time to settle your body into a state of stillness, relaxation, and alertness, getting a sense of balance and ease. And inviting the mind to simply dwell in the natural rhythm of your breath in your abdomen, the rise and fall of the abdomen. With each breath in and out, just in its natural rhythm. You can think like a pristine mountain lake, and then just at the sides of that, you know, there's just this natural ebb and flow of the tides. So like that with our abdomen, just this gentle rise and fall of the breath with each moment of the breath in, each moment of the breath out. Sense of groundedness, connection to the elements, stillness. And then call to mind someone you know who you're familiar with their background and circumstances, but you don't, you know, they're not one of your group of friends or so forth. They're not somebody who irritates you. They're just there. But someone you know, but you're sort of slightly familiar, but not really familiar with their life. And really get a sense of their presence. And think that as a fellow human being, they have yearnings and aspirations just like me. They want to be free from discomfort, pain, insecurity. They want to feel content, happy, to thrive. And so not being really familiar with them, but on the basis of them being human, just like me, see if you can shift your awareness to view the world from their perspective. You can use our imagination, our experience. And from that point of view, from their point of view, if you like, looking back at yourself, and think that they have excellent qualities. Yes, they have deficiencies, defects, just like me. But their yearning for happiness, to attain their own goals, their own aspirations, is just the same as mine. Even though they're not, close to me, part of my close family, friends, my circle, my personal universe. They're no less significant. This person is no less significant than that of a dear loved one who I cherish and hold close, who I regard as crucial to my happiness. As His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, as human beings, physically, mentally, emotionally, we are all the same. So if you can sense that connectedness on the basis of our humanity, our shared humanity. Returning to your own perspective, call to mind someone who is, if you like, in your inner circle, someone you feel is crucial to your well-being, someone for whom you have naturally great affection and love. Feel them in your presence. Attend closely to them and shift your awareness to view the world from their perspective. Yes, they're a human being like myself, but I have more familiarity with their aspirations, their qualities, and probably with their defects, just like all of us. They have their own desires and hopes and fears. And from their viewpoint of the world, realize that, yes, although they love you, you're loved by some people, there are a great number of people, probably the majority of the people, who are indifferent to you. They don't have you in their gaze, in their regard. They're not familiar with you. And even those who don't like you, most likely, there's some of those. And this person for whom you have a great deal of affection has their own dreams and hopes and fears. Maybe we're familiar with those. Maybe some of those are our own. Maybe a lot of them. And step back away into your own perspective and attend again to this person from the outside. And see that they, like me, are suffering here in samsara, have difficulties, have problems, have fears. And they're not an enduring, everlasting source of my happiness, of my joy. Maybe we know that already from our experience. And to know that this can only truly come from our own heart, from our own mind, from our inner, accessing our inner potential for happiness, for joy, and all the positive qualities, not even from our dear ones. And this we are all the same. And then call to mind someone you have difficulty with, maybe you even have conflicts with, or that you avoid at all costs as much as you can, who, maybe they're intent on bringing you harm, or from your perspective, depriving you of happiness. And even for a short time, just imagine stepping into their perspective, experiencing their hopes and fears. Here is a suffering person just like myself. Fundamentally, just like me, they want to be happy. They don't want to suffer any more than I do. They don't want to have problems any more than I do. But it's so hard for us to see when we seem to be their target. So step back away from that. And from that distance, think, this person is not the one from their side actually depriving my happiness or causing me distress or causing me anxiety. That I am responsible for. The source is my own heart, not in them. And we can also think that if they are happy, which is what they seek, then their mind is more peaceful, more calm, less likely to cause harm to us, to others. So like that, it's a win-win situation based on our shared humanity, our shared aspirations for happiness. We can also contemplate that our life circumstances change, relationships change, and is in flux. That perhaps people who were our dearest friends, when we were growing up and so forth, that we would now put into the category of those we don't know. There might be strangers now, estranged from us now. They may be still our dear friends. They may be estranged from us now because we're just not in contact with them. We don't know what's going on in their lives, or even if their lives are going on. And even those dear to us, do something to upset us or do many things to upset us and so forth. And now we put them in the enemy camp that we don't want to have anything to do with. So even we can see in this life how unstable these relationships are, subject to change. So no need to box anyone into any particular category relationship, because that changes. And expand your field of awareness to embrace everyone in your immediate environment that you're familiar with, not so familiar with, and so forth, their hopes, their fears, their aspirations, their yearnings on the basis of our shared humanity, thinking each and every one is as important as all the others. Even regard. Our shifting circumstances in life bring us together. People who were strangers to us yesterday, we may be now today regard as our friends here, our Dharma buddies. And the circumstances cause us to part as well. So expanding your field of awareness out to the whole community everywhere, including everyone. That everybody else, just like me, feels themselves to be the center of their own world, their own universe. Tap into the pure depths of your own awareness at your heart, at the heart chakra, at the center of your chest. And imagine an orb of radiant white light. And as you breathe out, breathing out this light, spreading it out evenly in all directions, to all persons everywhere. And that the light also spreads throughout your whole body-mind continuum as well. And with that, we can offer from our heart the aspiration may each one, including myself, find happiness. May everyone, including myself, be free of all suffering and the causes of suffering. And imagine this flood of light going out in all directions, soothing those who are distressed, bringing healing, happiness, and a sense of well-being to all beings everywhere. Bathed in the light of our shared humanity. And release all conceptualization and rest for a moment, settling your awareness in its own pure nature. Accessing the even-mindedness that is a fertile ground for all our spiritual practices. Simply aware. Aware of being aware. Just that. Okay, so we'll take a break, a half-hour break. So 10:46, we'll come back. Now, yesterday morning, were you, those on Zoom, were you able to talk to each other during the break, hear each other during the break, if you wanted to? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll leave it on for you, but turn the recording off. Or pause the recording, rather. I don't know if it's the same voice, but on the phone, Siri, and somebody mentioned that the voice of Siri was the person's voice that was used for that was from Mackay in Queensland. And so, you know, when you ask Siri a question, I said, Siri, where are you from? I am from Silicon Valley in California. No, Siri, where are you really from? I'm from Silicon Valley. Okay. I guess the computerized version is. So there you go. She's got an answer. Yeah. Okay. So How's everyone going? I just wondered, are there any questions or points for discussion at this point? That was yes? Yes. Go.
Oh, I'm sorry. When we come up to that part of people avoiding obstacles and to visualize them in the meditation,
Yeah.
I appear there. Like I am probably my biggest obstacle.
We can be our biggest obstacle for sure. Absolutely. And we know each other, we know ourselves quite well. Yes.
And so I try to go back to like loving kindness and compassion.
Excellent.
Myself, but it's hard, I guess. When we've been society has driven us to be quite negative towards ourselves. We've always been judged, scored since primary school.
Correct.
Onwards. How can?
Yeah, that's the whole practice, isn't it? All of our practice. So it's like with the first meditation on appreciating our human life, to counteract that natural tendency to self-criticism, self-judgment. And yes, that gets, we can say that because it is pervasive in our world, that then gets, the conditions arise for that through our schooling and so forth, where we're judged and so forth. But how we relate to that is our choice, you know. So those sort of think, okay, I'm going to, you know, we're sort of like, oh, I didn't get the job I wanted, so therefore I'm a failure, where it's not. We've over dramatized the whole situation. It's not I'm a failure. In fact, you might find, oh, actually, I was just waiting for a better job to come along. I remember that a few times I'd gone for jobs and it'd always be like, they'd ring up and say, well, you did really well. You were the second one. And then one job I applied for where I was the second one. And by that time I was like, so yeah, but how am I going to pay the rent? And the woman who got the job was a friend of mine. And she said, you're so lucky you didn't get that job. I was loving the job. I don't know how long she lasted. Our perspective. So the only thing that we have control over and then is changing our, and we just chip away at that and you know, keep introducing like the points of appreciating what opportunities and what positive qualities and so forth we do have, and turning our mind to that consciously. And it is true, we say, you know, we're our own worst enemy. We say things to ourselves that nobody else would say to us, and we wouldn't tolerate it if someone else said to us, would we? We'd offer business. So yeah, I'm getting some echo here. Juliet, oh, you've got your hand up, that's why.
Yeah, I have. I was going to say, when I love that equanimity meditation, by the way, that's one of my favourite ones. Haven't done it for a while now, but I love that. But I experienced about a month ago the results of what happened. So about 10 years ago, I was in an organisation and a lady developed an intense hate of me. I was never nasty to her or anything, but that was where she was coming from. And I saw her in the shopping centre about a month ago. She couldn't look at me in the face. She just, you know, looked the other way and then walked away as quickly as she could. But for me, it was, and so I said her name and I felt great love and compassion to her. And I really just knew that that was part of a big change. Yeah, it was lovely.
Thanks for sharing that. I think everyone heard here, right? Yeah. So thank you so much. And it really is part of our practice. That I remember being ever inspired when I first heard on, you know, Discovering Buddhism. We have these videos for each of the modules, and amongst the presenters each time it alternates between Pernod Reeves and Richard Gere. And Richard Gere said, whenever I meet anyone, my very first thought is, may you be well, may you be happy. First thought, not who are you? You're going to offer me a contract, or do I know you? Or, you know, you can imagine the number of people that might, or maybe not so much these days, have gone up to him and said hello. But he said, his first thought, may you be well, may you be happy. And that was so inspiring to me that just like Juliet, I took it into the, I was living in the inner city of Sydney. So I took it into my shopping experience, thinking, may you be well, may you be happy, transform my shopping experience. Did it transform anybody else's day? Probably not, but at least it transformed my experience. And so that's what we're doing, you know, cultivating that in our mind, first towards ourselves, you know. So having that kindness and compassion towards ourselves, because if I'm going to be offering it towards others, I have to offer it towards myself first. So it is true, you know, we have to, we're probably, yeah. It's interesting, we don't think about, you know, put that sort of enemy, ourselves in that place, but it's true, our own worst enemy. And that we can change. That we can change, you know. And we can transform that mind. I mean, if it's actual external enemy, you know, wars, like we see what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, and there's all this commentary that the Russians are going away to regroup, to come back and so forth. And that's what they do. They retreat and come back and retreat and come back. But if we're working with our own inner enemies, they can dissolve into nothingness eventually. With practice, with a lot of practice. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. So I mentioned yesterday that we have these practices that are called the 4 immeasurable thoughts, or cultivating immeasurable minds. And the idea is immeasurable minds towards immeasurable beings, so vast, think big, you know, as Lama-Yeshe would say. So this is these 4, we've just done one version of the one on equanimity, and there's many different approaches to that style, cultivating that style of equanimity, which is the foundation then for all the others, which is immeasurable love, immeasurable compassion, and immeasurable joy. Right? So harnessing the power of these minds. So it being a Saturday morning, normally I'm giving at least one opportunity to participate in our organisation for monks and nuns within FPMT, the International Mahayana Institute, for the past 2 years or so, has been offering practices as advised by Lama Zopa Rinpoche, engaging in practices, a 24-hour prayer-a-thon of, you know, for, as Rinpoche said, keep doing this until the pandemic declines. At the beginning, we had no idea what we were committing to. And now I just read yesterday, there's a BA4, BA5, and, you know, where does it end? Anyway, so till it declines. He didn't say till it goes away, till it declines. Anyway, let's just see. Anyway, we're still doing, and it's a wonderful connection for us. And so it's, I like to think it's spreading the coronavirus, the virus of great compassion. It's a heart connection, you know, and you really feel that, at least those of us involved in the practice, you know, engaging in that. And, you know, like many of us have developed a lot of friendships online with people that I didn't know before, because we have a bit of personal engagement as well, because, you know, not just, you know, to make it a bit personalized. Okay, so here we're going to take that mind of compassion by way of meditation from Lama Zopa Rinpoche, using visualization of the Buddha and light and so forth, to enhance that mind of compassion. So this is going to be our next meditation. Excuse me, if my voice lasts. So we have different Buddha images. Of course, everyone's familiar with Shakyamuni Buddha. And Shakyamuni Buddha, just like all the other Buddhas, have complete, perfect compassion, complete, perfect wisdom, complete, perfect power. And yet we have different representations to focus on different things, which is beneficial for our minds, right? It's not like, oh, you know, Chenrezig is the only Buddha of compassion. All the Buddhas have infinite compassion. So here you can choose your own image, either of Chenrezig or of Shakyamuni Buddha, of Tara. We've got Manjushri up here, we've got Maitreya here. So perhaps I was looking over here because there's going to be our medicine Buddha wall. There's medicine Buddha here, blue one. We're going to have a whole wall of those. We have a whole wall of Taras that we've got the, well, we haven't got the Taras, they're on their way to us. It's very exciting over this wall, statues. Okay. So anyway, so whichever one you feel familiarity with and connection with, we can use that as our Buddha image for this meditation. So this one best in sitting, but only because when sort of visualizing, we just sort of visualize in the sitting up form, but that's okay. If you're on the ground, you can just work a bit harder. So settling into your posture, this meditation, settling your mind into the space of the body, the sense of comfort, ease, stability, well supported by the ground below, giving a sense of safety. Coming to a state of stillness. Settling your awareness on the breath, just the natural comings and goings of the breath, either in the whole of your body, the sensations of that in your abdomen or at the opening of the nostrils, you can choose. Enough to settle your mind into a state of stillness, spaciousness, and alertness. And we can visualize around us as much as we can on every atom of space, all other sentient beings, our family and friends close by our sides and behind us, all other beings, every atom of space, those we have difficulty with in front, at whatever comfortable distance, arising in human form, each and every one, as if engaging in this practice along with us, enhancing our power of our practice. Now, heart connection to each and every one. And then above your crown and the crown of each being you visualize around you, every atom of space. Visualize there the Buddha arises, whichever Buddha you've chosen to focus your awareness on, of infinite compassion. So this Buddha is not flat like in the tankas. It's 3D. It's not solid like in the statues. It's made of light, infinite white light. Pure, radiant, blissful, as incandescent as you can, as much light as possible, and feel that you're truly being bathed by the presence, by the power, by the wisdom, compassion of this Buddha above your crown, above each and every being's crown. And as you breathe in, feel that the light from the deity's heart, which is the nature of great compassion, infinite altruistic compassion, equal to all beings, blesses each and every sentient beings, ourselves and all of those around us. This pure, blissful, radiant light fills the whole body and mind with great compassion in the heart. So hold that mind in that state for a while. Feel that great compassion, yourself towards yourself, to extending out towards others without discrimination. With the aspiration of compassion, of wishing to free all beings. If we could, we would, from all their suffering, all their problems. If I could do that, I would. But having that aspiration, as the Buddha said, I can't do that for you, but I can show you how. Feel that genuine heart connection to each and every sentient being. The heart of karuna, compassion. And then as you breathe out, feel that you breathe out anything getting in the way of that, any of the obstacles, the hindrances, or the negative imprints on our mind, any harm we've done to others, or the holding on to that, regrets we have. Just let it all flow out completely. We can visualize that in the form of dark smoke or pollution that goes way beyond this world, way beyond the universe, doesn't pollute anything, dissolves into nothingness. I'm using this as a way of purifying, healing ourselves of all of these toxicities, these pollutions. You think they're gone completely with the breath out. So continue like that as we breathe in from the heart of the Buddha, infinite white light healing body and mind, awakening our own innate great compassion towards others as we breathe out, as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, continuing to release any disturbances to our body and mind. So the body and mind more settled into a state of softness. This light is very cooling, refreshing, like the light of the moon. Cooling down the heat of our anger and desire and all that negative energy. So continue like that with that visualization, the breath in, the breath out. Until we feel that the whole body is like pure, radiant, blissful white light. No room for anything disturbing. No room for any negativity, intolerance, and so forth. It's completely pure compassion. The mind completely filled, infused with the light of compassion, the heart of compassion. It can indiscriminate, impartial concern for all others, including ourselves, for all beings. I feel that my mind becomes one with this mind of infinite altruistic compassion, this Buddha of compassion. Really feel that. And then again, as you inhale slowly, visualizing the light coming from the heart of this compassion Buddha above your crown and that of each and every being. And think it's the essence of wisdom of the purely awakened mind, the omniscient mind of a Buddha. Again, in the form of white light, filling the entire body and mind, holding our mind in that state of infinite altruistic wisdom, infinite wisdom that knows all there is to be known, that knows the past lives of each and every sentient being, including ourselves, knows exactly how to respond in any given situation perfectly, according to the needs of each and every being, and is perfectly in sync with reality. Pure, laser-like white light of wisdom radiating through every cell, every particle of your being. And harnessing the energy of our own innate wisdom mind. And then as we breathe out, again, visualizing all the defilements or the negative imprints on our mind, particularly that of our root ignorance, confusion, that is not in sync with reality, that gets things wrong, comes out in the form of smoke or pollution, like coming out from a chimney, dissolving beyond the universe, way beyond the world, not polluting anything, completely dissolves into nothingness, and think you're all those obstacles, hindrances, confusions, afflicted states of mind are completely removed. You're completely pure body, mind. And continue with that visualization with the light in, bringing in the essence of exalted wisdom, of omniscience. And then the breath out, releasing all the hindrances to that mind, our own ordinary mind states, completely eliminated. And feel that you've completely awakened your own perfect wisdom mind, the essence of the full awakening of your own Buddha nature. Feel one with the Buddha you visualize above your crown and the crown of each and every sentient being. Feel that confidence to know exactly how to benefit them. And then again, as you inhale, the light from Compassion Buddha above your crown and the crown of each and every sentient being, think that it's in the essence of perfect power, capability to be able to help everyone, to be able to free them immediately from all their problems, suffering, the causes of the problems. This is the highest of the highest thought. To free them from their negative imprints. And for them to achieve perfect happiness immediately. So think that this light is perfect power to give all the temporary and ultimate happiness, all the way up to enlightenment, to ourselves, to others. So receive this in the form of white light, filling the whole body and mind. With this light that is in nature, pure power, to do perfect works for all other beings, enhancing our capacity, transforming our body into this powerful being, every atom of our being, perfect power like that of a Buddha. I think this is me, this is who I truly am. For example, some doctors are able to know exactly a person's sickness and able to give the right medicine at the right time in the right dose to be able to heal immediately. So like that, be able to realize the perfect power for all the activities you do for others. So if you're a school teacher, for example, being able to awaken the children's mind from their ignorance, their confusion, and immediately be able to eliminate that through the power of your teaching. Having great confidence in your knowledge and capability. Of doing consultations and through the perfect power, being able to guide a person to solve their problems immediately and to give them great peace and happiness to their minds. Be able to pacify all their disturbing emotions, just like we've pacified our own. In this way, generating more and more an open, compassionate heart towards all the others we've visualized around us. So that heart connection of compassion, of karuna. So then this Buddha of infinite altruistic compassion, you visualized above the crown of your head, and those of each sentient being simultaneously dissolves into an orb of light which descends through your crown, comes to sit at your heart chakra, center of your chest, awakening that jewel of compassion, like at the heart of Chenrezig, the Buddha of compassion, enhancing its power, our inner resource, our inner jewel of compassion. Body and mind completely soothed, calmed, healed, completely omniscient, completely powerful to benefit others. Really feel this is who I truly am. And then at times when our own minds get confused, disturbed, overwhelmed in any way, we can tap into this inner wealth, this storehouse of compassion to guide us, to cultivate more compassion towards ourselves and towards all others with a sense of ease and spontaneity. May all beings live in peace. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings experience every joy, everything their hearts desire. May I be responsible for this by myself alone. I think you heard the last one. She said you couldn't hear. That was not so compassionate, that last one. Disturbing beings. Okay, so again, stand up, walk around, relax. Or you don't have to stand up, just give your body a bit of a break. This one of compassion is quite profound. His Holiness the Dalai Lama says what's most needed in the world today. I don't think we have to look too far around the world to realize this is true, right? It's most needed. And then also, as Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, work with compassion, meditate with compassion. So meditate with compassion towards yourself. First, we have to have patience with ourselves. Live with compassion, die with compassion. If we don't live with compassion, we'll never die with compassion. You know, one of the people in the Liberation Prison Project in America, where unfortunately executions in some states still happen. And so he was facing his execution time. In fact, for the week beforehand, he'd had a geshe with him and his own the monk mentor, and the geshe said, none of us will be as prepared for death as he was, right? That he was really prepared. And so they have the execution chamber, and they wanted to be able to get in and say the prayers for the time of death as he was, going in, getting the drugs. And they weren't able to do that, but they did just coincidentally leave the door to the execution chamber just a little bit open so they could. But this guy, also before he died, they go through all the reprieves or attempt to repeal and so forth and get a reprieve. But he did an interview for the media and he said, oh, you know, may all beings be free of suffering. And this was his interview and they're like, okay. And he'd made a plan that he would be meditating, reciting Om Mani Padme Hum. We can feel compassion for that poor little child who's feeling very unhappy right now. Probably the parents being very unhappy at the child. And so he decided he would use his last breath. You know, they give you this 2 minutes, anything you want to say. And so he decided for that time, however long it wasn't actually 2 minutes, it was a lot less. He was reciting Om Mani Padme Hum until he lost consciousness. And in the sort of months before his execution, he just kept writing. He'd been engaged with the Dharma practice and studies for about 10 years or so. And then, you know, there's nothing like knowing that your death's coming right now to really hone your practice. And so he just said, oh, because what had happened was he'd really taken the Dharma on board, which happens a lot in prison when they grab hold of anything, it's really intense. And then he was leading groups within his prison. He says, I just want to stay alive so I can teach Dharma. And so, well, that didn't happen, but let's hope that aspiration will eventuate in whatever next lifetime. And yeah, so he was able to die with compassion, you know, to use that time. Well, it appeared dying with, I mean, you don't know what's inside someone's mind, but he was able to achieve what he wanted, which was to go out saying Om Mani Padme Hum. And of course, all around the world, because we knew his execution time, we were all meditating on compassion, and, you know, sending the vibes that way. Some years ago, FPMT in North America made His Holiness the Dalai Lama's birthday Compassion Day. And so everybody were doing meditations like this, not just on that day, but, you know, using that as a particular opportunity, meditations on compassion and so forth. So again, as I said yesterday, when you know you're part of a worldwide movement going on, and actually I think too, they had the Maitreya Buddha, when they were having tours for the Maitreya, with the Maitreya Buddha relics and relics for Maitreya Buddha statue in Kushinagar, then we'd all be doing these meditations on compassion, and you could put your time and place of where you're doing it on the world map, and so you could see where everyone else was doing it as well. So these are great technologies, aren't they? Wonderful. Worldwide movement of Karuna. Okay. Alrighty, so our final one for this morning, moving along with these immeasurable thoughts, is immeasurable love. Right. So whereas measurable compassion focuses on the wish for someone to be free, for ourselves and others to be free from suffering, the causes of suffering, the one of love is wishing them to have happiness and the causes of happiness. So it's very interesting when we think about this as unconditional love, but then we have to raise the question, can I ever really have unconditional love? If you're a Buddha, yes, no question of a doubt. But those of us still with our minds of ignorance, which is what propels our existence, then it's a little bit caught up with other things. But we do the best we can, and we cultivate as much purity as we can of that. Sort of think, you know, no strings attached, you know, I'll love you if you do this for me, if you take out the garbage and bring it back in or whatever. Okay. So we're harnessing that, as Richard Gere said, you know, may be well, may be happy. This is the one of love. This is the heart of love. Okay, so again, settling into comfortable posture. Let your body be balanced in a state of comfort, ease, settling into its stillness. Feeling well grounded to work to the earth below, supporting you, providing you a stable foundation for your practice, a sense of safety and support. And with the breath out, releasing any tension, tightness, getting a sense of spaciousness in the body, in parts of the body. Within the organs, around the organs, within each cell, around each cell. Spacious lightness of being. Setting the mind into that space. Quietening the mind to settle on the breath in and out at the nostrils, just in its natural rhythm, whatever, without squeezing the brow, keeping a spacious, open posture, spacious, open mind, finely tuned on the breath at the opening of the nostrils. If it's unclear, maybe just sort of elevating the chest, bringing your attention further up, allowing the mind to quiet there. We can turn our mind to engaging in this meditation on generating loving energy in our minds. And to widen that circle of love, increasingly out towards others, to the world. So again, we can visualize all living beings, every atom of space around us, engaging in this practice, our family, friends, or those who are dear to us behind, gathered around behind us. In front, those we have difficulty with or so forth. And then, extending as far as we can to the horizon, beyond the horizon, every atom of space, each and every other being, feel they're all there in human form, sitting quietly, just like you. So each and every one of us here in the Gompa, those online, each and every other sentient being, every atom of space. As much as you're comfortable with, as much as you can visualize. Feeling a sense of relaxation, openness. And imagine that a sense of harmony and peace exists, pervades each and every one of us. from us out to the others around us, from those back to us and towards each other. And consider how amazing it would be if you're able to truly extend that heart of love to all these beings. How amazing it would be for yourself, how amazing it would be for others. To be the source of their well-being and happiness, loving concern, kind regard. And think, just like me, each and every one of these beings around me are doing the best they can to make the best of their lives, even those difficult ones are doing the best they can. Generate a feeling of genuine, pure love in the depths of your heart. If you think of someone you love right now and letting your natural good feeling for that person arise, in its purest form. Of course, there's always some attachment there, but the pure love form. So you might imagine that love as a warm, soothing, bright light, pure positive energy glowing at your heart chakra at the center of your chest. Beautiful, positive energy. And before we can truly love others, extend it out towards others, first of all, we extend towards ourselves, loving ourselves. So loving yourself is just like a Buddha does, accept you just as you are, with all our faults, all our shortcomings, just as we are right now. Recognizing that we do have the potential to free ourselves from all these problems. So really extend that heartfelt wish towards yourself, to have all the happiness, all the goodness there is, that exists anywhere. So imagine that the warm energy in your heart from this light radiates out throughout your whole body, expands completely, filling every atom of your being, from the tips of your toes up to the top of the head, your extremities of your fingers, completely filling your mind, infusing our minds with this pure, unconditional love, kind, loving self-regard, self-healing. Of course, as we were mentioning, we can have a habit of being self-critical, judgmental, even irritated, annoyed, angry with ourselves. So it takes time to allow this feeling of love, pure love, to really take root, to really infuse our mind. And if it helps, you can say to yourself, may I be happy. May I have whatever I need to feel happy, safe, loved, satisfied, content. And then the more we contemplate this power of love and these sentiments, these feelings grow, become more and more genuine, more and more meaningful. And extend that heart power of love, that light of love, out towards those who are dear to you, seated around you. So you can feel that warmth extending out from your heart towards each and every one of your family, your friends, those you feel close to. That you always feel that heart connection with. And again, you can offer them the aspiration, may you be happy. May you have whatever you need to be happy, to feel safe, loved, satisfied, content. May your lives be long and peaceful. And may you reach your highest potential in this very life. Imagine that warm, luminous energy radiating out from every atom of your body, touching each and every one, filling their bodies from the tips of their toes up to the top of their head, the extremities of their fingers, each atom transformed, bringing them happiness, all the happiness they wish for. Really feel that. We can extend out that same loving regard to all the people in our neighborhood, our community, or people we see in the supermarkets or shoppers or drivers, you know, people that are in our surroundings. And see if you can hold that same regard for their happiness, for their well-being. May you be happy. May you have whatever it takes to be happy, whatever you need to feel happy, safe, loved, satisfied, content. May all your thoughts be positive. May all your experiences be good. May your lives be long, peaceful. May you quickly reach your highest potential. That radiant light of pure, unconditional love radiating from your heart, the warmth of that filling their bodies, their minds. And imagine they experience every happiness they wish for, or their aspirations are fulfilled. And then we turn our regard to those in front, those we have difficulty with, and think they too are deserving, needing my love. And wishing them to be free of confusion and anger, sort of self-centeredness that drives them to act in the ways they do. So really want them to have peace of mind. Peace arises in their minds. They transform. They have happiness. So try and sincerely think as much as you can. May you be happy. May you have what you want and need to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel satisfied, to feel content. May all your thoughts be positive. May all your experiences be good ones. May your lives be long and peaceful. And may we quickly reach your purest, most positive potential. And again, that radiant light equally radiates out towards them, flows from your heart, and they experience the happiness that they wish for. Their body, mind transformed. So love is this unlimited spring of good energy, of positive wishes and energy. So completely open your heart. Imagine your love flowing out in all directions, reaching all the beings around you that you visualized, or those who are lonely, sick, hungry, fearful, oppressed, homeless, frightened. Feel that all that dissolves and their minds become peaceful, clear, full of pure happiness, hope. Wish for everyone to experience that pure happiness, to have every good experience, have all their ordinary needs and desires met, all the way up to realizing their fullest potential based on their human resilience. Focus your mind on that open heart of love, extending to all beings everywhere for as long as you can, and feel that that same loving energy extending back from the power of their practice from each and every one, feeling that intimate connection with each other through the power of love. Keeping the mind open to cultivate more and more a space in your heart for pure, universal love, for the happiness of yourself, for the happiness of others, to develop their fullest potential, to transform ourselves, to transform the world. Okay, so I think time for congratulations, everybody, for this morning, for all your efforts and engagement in these meditations. And if we can keep those positive energies flowing towards each other in the break time, to keep that when we meditate on things like love and compassion, most things, like when we're visualizing the Buddha and so forth, we've got an object of our meditation like that. But with the love and compassion, the object of our meditation is the love and compassion on the basis of extending that out towards others. But it's about infusing our mind, awakening that power within our mind. So it's, you know, more and more we practice that, the more and more it naturally is imbued with that, because it is, you know, natural to us. And by the way, it feels good. So why wouldn't we want more? Okay. All righty. So we'll take our lunch break and resume at 1:15. And I think, yeah, anyway, we'll come back together at 1:15 and then we'll have some chat session. Pauline and Juliet, if you stay online, we'll test out if it works for you. Okay, so of course, everyone's brought their lunch again, who's here. So whatever beautiful deliciousness that I'm sure is made with love. I was in France at Institute Vajrayogini, and Venerable Charles, that's Charles with a French accent, Venerable Charles was in the kitchen. These days, they were trying to get him to teach, and he went, no, I'm going to stay in the kitchen. But he's been the one leading they have these 108 nyungnos, goes on for months. One from the eastern states went over for it, and I think she's planning for the next one now. She trained at the gym to get ready for the nyungno. I said, you don't need to train at the gym. You're going to be starving yourself. You'll get fit doing all these prostrations. Anyway, it's I call it the extreme sport of Tibetan Buddhism, but it is a compassion practice, very transformative, very, very transformative, you know, amazing. Actually, one nun, her whole heart practice is these nyungnos. I think she's probably done 1,000 at least by now. But she was, I saw after she'd done 26 in a row, and because she came out, there was that Root Institute in India, and she was translucent. Her skin was translucent, literally translucent. It's like, wow, that's powerful practice. Anyway, back to Venerable Charles. He was in the kitchen, and of course, you know, when you've got a few allergies and so forth, and sort of, what's in that sauce, Charles? Bodhicitta. Yes, but what's really in it? Bodhicitta. And I just had to go with the bodhicitta and hope for the best, you know. So whatever we bought for lunch, think bodhicitta, right? Blissful, radiant nectar, and that we're offering it up out of our compassion to each and every other sentient being. And by the way, we get to eat it anyway. But that they receive as delicious nectar in whatever form they can receive that. So holding them in our heart. And then we can offer up to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who then shower down the blessings and awakening our own Buddha nature at our heart. And blissful radiant light goes out, and nectar, you know, transforming every cell, every mouthful we have, we receive as pure bliss. So this is value added. Doesn't cost a cent more. You know, this is the most delicious food you could ever imagine, completely satiating ourselves and all others. Oma hong, oma hong, oma hong, lama sangye lama, chu de shin lama, gerun te. Kungi che polama te la Chuparu. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is Sangha also. The Guru is the creator of all happiness to all Gurus. I make this offering. So enjoy your lunch and I'll see you at 1:15.